Ms. Jasmine Hernandez and Ms. Geneva Scott. And for the emojis, I'm going to say number 17. I'm feeling excited about the Christmas break coming up, and I always love another holiday, back-to-back holidays that allow for a lot of eating and snacking. So I'm really good for that.
Fantastic. So which emoji were you again?
Number 17.
Number 17. Fantastic. All right. Yeah, you kind of have that whole Santa thing going on there, buddy.
Yeah, I just need the hat. I just need the hat.
You know, if this whole workforce thing doesn't work out, buddy, you know, you can just do freelance Santa shows, man. I think you it's a career there, buddy.
Yeah, this whole COVID thing has hit me hard on my second job at the Macy's department store. So
we're glad you're here, buddy. Well, I look forward to hear from you
yeah,
and some updates on workforce. Absolutely right. Miss Geneva Scott.
Yes, hello, good morning, everybody. So
Good morning.
I do work with David. He's my supervisor. So I'm a workforce outreach specialist. So I think the emoji for me is number 9. I love me some sleep.
Oh yeah, absolutely right. Definitely, I have to concur. Right. So, you know, my daughter's been here from college. I don't know when she's ever awake. She's always asleep. So yeah, it's interesting, right? But yeah, definitely no, we need to recharge. So hopefully the break will be a good time for us to all recharge, right? But thank you for being here, Ms. Scott.
For sure.
Mr.
Thank
Lopez,
you.
go ahead. Mario. Mr. Lopez? Oh yeah, he connecting. Okay, he's going. He's going. Here we go. Give him a couple of seconds. Connecting to audio. Mr. Lopez, are you good?
Yes, I'm gonna have to drive, so I switched to my phone.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on. We'll come back to Mr. Lopez in a second. Ms. Hernandez, go ahead. Jasmine.
Hi, good morning. It's nice to see some familiar faces. So I work with Workforce Solutions, David Gutierrez, which is the best supervisor in the world, I must say.
There you go.
Is my supervisor.
You're getting the gift basket this year. That's it.
Hopefully, right? So I work with school districts, with business partners, with community partners, with post-secondary institutions, with everybody, just to try to empower students to make informed decisions about their future. And I would say I'm number 4 right now.
Number 4. Oh, perfect. Right. Good. Definitely. Let's go with Ms. Epifania Pinales.
Good morning, everyone. Epifania Pinales with Idea Public Schools. I'm a Regional Director of Instructional Coaching. So I support 16 campuses around advanced academics and STEM. And today, and for the rest of the next days until the break, I'm looking at number 16. There's a lot going on. So
Oh, yeah. I was like this, right? Keeping an eye on everything, right? Thank you for being here, Ms. Pinales. Let's go with Miss Tamara Hudgens, Dr. Hudgens, Girl Start.
Hi there, Tamara from Girl Start. We do STEM education for girls, chiefly 4th through 8th grade, especially 4th and 5th in the Rio Grande Valley. We've been serving the Valley since 2013 with Girl Start After School and Girl Start Summer Camp.
Fantastic. Thank you for being here, this morning, Tamara. Ms. Blanco, Angelina.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Evangelina Blanco. The science specialist for UTRGV Europe. So I'm over at the university. I'm happy to be here. The emoji that I first wanted to choose was number 19, but just like Sylvia, I wasn't too sure what that was. It reminded me of drooling over cookies. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go with that one. But I decided to do 14. I love this time of year from Halloween and on. It's just really great to see everybody. So I'm happy to be here, everybody.
It's good to see you again. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with drooling, right? As long as you drool over the right stuff, right? So I drool for STEM all the time. Well, thank you for being here, Ms. Blanco. Ms. Dr. Benibo, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Gloria Belay Benibo, and a lot of familiar faces here that we've been the same conferences, the same everything, STEM,
Absolutely.
South Texas. We've been there together. I really, each time I see anything that pops up with Region 1, I'm like, oh, those are my people. Let me see what's going on there. I love that. And I'm from the Innovation Academy. We internally go with Citgo Innovation Academy because of our partnership, great partnership with Citgo Refinery. And this Innovation Academy in Corpus Christi has been in place since 2007. But I've been with this for about 8 years. I'm loving every minute of it. And we've kind of tried to do things a little bit outside of the normal box. We've done all girls one thing, all boys the other, and Winter Olympics and Spring Olympics and STEM, all of that. But we're blessed because we're able to do those kinds of things due to some of the support we've received. And it is those that have also equipped us with being able to share some of our best practices, and we keep learning. So that's why I always want to go to things like this to see what all we can do. And then Tamara from Girl Start, I'm looking forward to communicating more with you, because in this remote, I'm not going to call it challenges, the alternative education format that we have. I'm looking for ways that we can continue to enrich our kids, and I'm open to learning from your whatever the pedagogy we have right now. As far as the emoji, I just went with the first one. That's the
Perfect.
first one I saw, and everything else is like, that's happy. He has rosy cheeks, and it looks good to me. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm one of those people who my holiday seasons start with, I got married on the 27th of December. So I had my first child the next Christmas Day, the next one, the December 14th. So
Oh
Christmas
my goodness.
is my month of celebrations. Yes, by January I'm broke, but it's, but it's my month of celebrations. And so it's always a good month for me.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for being here. You are our celebration for being here this morning. We want to thank you for being here. And again, thank you for joining from Corpus Christi. You know, this whole South Texas region hasn't just an amazing ecosystem. And sometimes we don't know what's happening just, 30, 40 minutes down the road. So thank you for being here. And I like the fact that you're trying to connect with somebody already with Girl Start, right? That's what you want to do here. You hear something, something spurs an idea. That's why this whole ecosystem, that's why it's supposed to work. Cross-sector communications, right? So whenever you can do that, please do that here informally at any time. And that's the purpose of the ecosystem. So thank you for being here, Miss Dr. Benibo. Really appreciate going to, I haven't been out to your campus in a while, but hopefully when things get back to normal, you'll see us there visiting Corpus at some point. So moving on, let's go ahead, Mr. Bocanegra. Luis, go ahead.
Hello, good morning. My name is Luis Bocanegra, and I am the T-STEM Academy and Ford NGL Director at Palmview High School. I currently serve grade levels 9 through 12 in different capacities and different pathways. So in the STEM pathway, we do work close with Region 1. So I'm excited to be here today. And the emoji that I relate most with right now is number 1. Excited for the holidays that are coming up, recovering from the turkey binge and ready for some tamales. So
Absolutely.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bocanegra. Thank you so much. And again, finding creative ways to kind of engage higher ed, industry partners. Of course, Palmview does a great job. The whole area there does a really good job with T-STEM. So thank you for being here. Ford NGL is a great model. I'm happy to see that, because that really, the design of the Ford NGL model is really about connecting folks with higher ed, and industry. So, if we have a little bit of time, I'd love to hear you present a little bit more about Ford NGL, Mr. Bocanegra, and just kind of briefly what the structure is for those of us who may not be aware about that model. So maybe we'll get to that a little bit later on. But thank you for being here.
Definitely. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. NGL. I think I did see Ford NGL a lot with, I think it was a PSJA. I don't know how far they went with that in prior years, but it's a really good model. Have you been out to what is it, that visit that they take out to Nashville? Is it Nashville?
I didn't get to go, but I
Okay.
heard amazing things from the visit
Sure.
to Nashville. Yeah, and that's where that's where our district launched a lot of the ideas from that initial visit. And I believe it was about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago,
Yes.
the
Yes.
initial visit.
Perfect. So the 14GL model has a really strong connection with industry, right? It's a paired relationship, and again, we got a little bit of time, Mr. Wilkin. I'll let you kind of speak more about how what that programming looks like at Palmview. So I think I also let's see here, Dr. Sonia Sainz. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry. I'm driving.
No worries. Just
So
be careful.
I have my eye on the road, but my name is Sonia Sines. I am the STEM coordinator at Bronzo ISD. I really just came into this position in early September. Before that, I was working as a private school director. My background is in science, so I'm just learning right now and trying to pick up as much as I possibly can, trying to get our STEM program going up here at BIC, well, down here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for being here. Hopefully we'll find good ways to connect and kind of give you a vision. And if anything, just at least you recognize our faces now if you see us around, right? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here and taking the extra, literally going the extra mile for STEM, right? as you're on the road.
Literally going the extra mile.
Yes, ma'am. I think we also have G. Cantu. G. Cantu, that's okay. Or also Mr. Lopez. Mario, if you want to do an introduction. A couple of seconds here. Oh, okay. Mr. Cantu says he can't speak. I already posted my. Okay, got it. Thank you so much, Mr. Cantu. I appreciate that. So I'll just read your response real quick, Mr. Cantu. Roldan Castro, TSIM director at La Jolla ISD High School. His camera's got issues, right? So anyway, he's here, happy to be here. He's emoji number one. And again, looking forward to hearing from the group. So thank you for being here, Mr. Cantu. Also, Mr. Lopez, also he's with Code RGV, and again, hopefully we'll hear with him. We'll hear about him a little bit later on as we move on to the meeting. So again, thank you all for being here. Again, I know it's a busy time for all of us in different ways, but I think it's important to come together as an ecosystem and really drive the attention of learning about each other. Right, that's the whole focus behind an ecosystem. You have to learn about other people, and really, it's a little bit about saying what you do, and I thank you for doing that, but it's also about listening to what other people are doing, right? So in a minute, we'll kind of give you a forum to kind of share what you do, and do take time to just listen to what other folks are doing that might spur an idea or a way to kind of connect, right? That's the whole intention behind the ecosystem. So as far as norms, the first norms we have is be present and just try not to be a minnow. I got that from a student recently, right? A minnow is members in name only, right? Where you're part of an organization and like that's all you are, just a minnow, right? And the student said, hey, well, because the question was this, how do you handle projects when someone doesn't do any of the work? And she said, well, when we have minnows, we try to work with them and blah, blah. I was like, I didn't know what a minnow was. So I asked the high school student, what is a minnow? And she goes, oh, that's that one kid that doesn't do anything. He's just there, members in name only. I'm like, my gosh, I think I'm a minnow. And I was like, Miss Escobar, am I a minnow? So it depends on who you ask, right? But definitely we don't want you to be a minnow. We want you to engage and participate, right? Secondly, self-police your mic and video as you need to. Interrupt the conversations. Those are all welcome parts of what we want to do here this next couple of hours. Honor the scheduled time. We think we're all here. Put your teacher hat on, student hat on, any kind of other hat that you need to take on to engage conversations, right? Everybody here is a learner. Everybody here is a teacher, right? We all have some things to learn. We also have some things to offer. So take both roles, please. Be a teacher and also be a student, right? With everybody here, use the chat as much as you can. If you have a question and you can't engage for whatever reason, mic doesn't work, and Ms. Escobar and I will be monitoring that to address some of your responses, right? But thank you for being here again. We'll try to avoid being minnows, right? Ms. Escobar, I'm gonna turn it over to you real quick.
Okay, so our agenda this morning, we already did welcome and introductions. We're going to go over some Region 1 Center updates, kind of give you an idea of what we've been working on, and that we haven't just been sitting here at home in our offices taking short naps. No, I'm joking.
Well, I have. I don't know
Take
about
dog
you.
out with
I
them.
have.
For me, I take my dogs out. Like my dogs out want to go out like every 2 hours, and every time they do that, I tell them, "Hey, I'm gonna have to go back to the office. What are y'all gonna do? Like, you can't get used to this." But yeah, they bother me like every 2 hours. They want to go outside. They're so spoiled right now. But anyway, we'll go over our updates. Then we're gonna briefly talk about engineering as elementary. We were supposed to have Mr. Chuy Garcia on today, but I think he had some health issues this morning, so he couldn't make it. But I'll go ahead and go over the platform just to show you what it is, because we use engineering as elementary quite a bit with the different things the different initiatives that we have going. And then we'll have an open forum at around 11, and that'll be a great time for y'all to share your programs. I know Mr. Pettis asked a lot of y'all to talk about your programs a little bit later, and that'll be the time. We want to hear what you're doing around the Valley, especially with around STEM and STEM careers. And so we're excited to hear about that, because this is a time where we get to know each other better, and we get to see what each other's doing, and then we can offer our assistance and support in any way we can. And then we'll have closing remarks.
Okay. So again, what is an ecosystem? Just to kind of set the stage and make sure we're all on the same page, right? So I'm going to go ahead and read this just so that we all have clarity, especially those of you who may have joined the first time. What is an ecosystem, right? It just essentially provides the architecture for cross-sector learning. We're all in different worlds. I'm in K through 12. Some of you are in workforce. Some of you are in higher ed. Some of you, working in policy, right? Each one of you brings a certain perspective that is incredibly important to share with other folks that may not know your world, right? They may not know your pressures, may not know your needs. So it's important for you to establish that and communicate that. So as you present your ideas, just know that some people here may not know, what is driving your thinking and your initiatives, right? So as we present some of your stuff, that's what we want to do here, right? Offering Rio Grande Valley learners access to multiple mechanisms and environments for STEM-rich learning, right? We know that STEM education, it involves other people, many sectors, right? And communicating what that needs to look like from cradle to career, right? From cradle to career. Everybody, it's like football. Everybody has the ball for a little bit and you pass it on to somebody else, right? Uh, it starts with K through 12, graduates to higher ed, ends up at workforce and so forth. So we have to know how are we handling our and juggling this, right? How are we giving it to the next person, and how can they help us too in our worlds, right? So that's what an ecosystem is. There is a national ecosystem that we're tied to. We're also tied to the Texas STEM ecosystem through TEA. So there's a direct line to policy as well, right? Uh, Make sure I'm going to share this presentation with you, all of you. So don't feel like you have to take notes. I'll put it in the chat in a second. We do have a website where we kind of list all the members. This is what it is right here, and just to kind of make sure we capture all of the activity around this work. I will post a link to this video. I'm recording this video, by the way, and I'll put a post in it just in case you need to go back and reference any part of this meeting. This is the definition we have for STEM according to the Texas Education Agency, right, which is our guiding agency. It's simply STEM education is a method of hands-on teaching and learning where students learn to apply academic content. So the focus is on application. We know that kids need to learn fundamental concepts and skills, but STEM education is grounded on how are students demonstrating that they've acquired a certain competency, right? And that they can do something with that, right? So this leads to many different types of experiences for students, right? So beyond that, let's get into Mrs. Escobar. Let's go ahead and go give them a little quick update on how we're engaging these definitions, how we're behaving as an ecosystem partner, and then we'll open it up to the group, right? So upcoming events, we're going to go over news, we're going to go over news and just basic opportunities.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
do you want me to stop sharing and you'll take over?
Well, you want to go just to the next slide? At least show the next slide and go over
okay.
that. Yeah, there you go.
Well, We were awarded one of the first updates is we were awarded the Million Women Mentors Texas Award, Stand Up for STEM Award as an organization. Thank you. Right. A lot of it has been based on the fact that we've been trying to do a lot of outreach for young females. I think Miss Hudgens was here earlier. She got the award a couple of years ago for Girl Start. Right. And here, the reason we got the award because we did a lot of activities around providing middle school coding camps for in the Edinburgh communities, in El Dorado, and in Brownsville. And beyond that, we also were involved in hosting several STEM community days, both here, both in Brownsville, and where we just brought in the community, right? And so we just kind of submitted that as artifacts and events to Million Winters to the Women Mentors movement because it is a national movement, and we were awarded the organizational award. There's no monetary award. It's not. It's more recognition than anything else for our efforts, right? So maybe later on there'll be some money. Well, maybe we'll get a gift basket or something. Right? But anyway, we're really happy to get this award because we're really passionate about providing opportunities for members that that are not represented in the pipeline. And we know that young females, especially Hispanic young females, are just not represented in the workforce, and so we're trying to make an imprint in that respect as early as possible, right? So thank you, Mrs. Escobar, also for being a leader in a lot of those awards. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about the award and some of the initiatives.
Sure. So again, this we've been blessed to have some opportunities to really tailor our STEM and computer science in particular camps towards females. We received for 2 years from Texas Workforce Commission, we received a grant that we hosted 3 camps, 3-week-long camps. We did one in Edinburgh, one in Brownsville, and one in Laredo. We did it 2 years in a row in the summer, and it was all for girls. When we were recruiting for those camps, which were for rising middle schoolers, we had like the first year we had 1,400 girls apply for that, and unfortunately we only had about 100 seats for all 3 camps because we could only manage about 30 in each camp. And so it was that was a hard year to have to turn away so many females who wanted to attend this computer science camp in the summer. But we also, what was great about that grant is it asked us to focus on foster girls in foster care. And in particular, our Laredo group had a group of about 5 girls that were actually transported over by a nun. And she would bring them and drop them off at the camp every morning and then pick them up in the afternoon. And for that first year, I don't know how we got away with it because we didn't get away with it the second year. But at the end of the week-long camps, not only do we really talk about computer science careers with them and encourage them and tell them that they can be and do whatever they want to do. And we showed them robotics. We showed them all kinds of STEM things that whole week. We had such a great time. We fed them really good food. We had it catered. It just was, we went all out. And at the very end, we got to give them a Dell laptop. And in particular, those girls, in fact, it makes me want to cry right now.
Gosh.
It was a really, really great experience to be able to give this about 100 girls a laptop that they could use. In fact, one of them, Sydney from Laredo, we've had in a camp recently, and she still uses that laptop that we gave her about 3 or 4 years ago. And it was just great. And one of the foster girls I remember said, "Is this mine? Like, do I get to keep it?" And it was very
beautiful.
powerful, very powerful. And we got to do that 2 years in a row. And just we know we impacted those females that were in the computer science camps because we've heard a lot of their testimonials after. And so we had the opportunity. And then in a lot of the camps that we do them for both UTRGV Gear Up. We do them for our Region 1 Gear Up. We always have a healthy balance of females and males, and we're pushing STEM careers, robotics, computer science. And again, it's just very rewarding to us to have been received this in particular award. We got to go to the summit and that they had last week, and there was about, I don't know, maybe 80 to 100 people, and Mr. Bettis was like only one of 2 male there. I was kind of making fun of him, because it was a bunch of females, but I mean, it's just great. It was really great, and we're so thankful for the opportunities to be able to do this in the job that we're in, and we hope to continue, and we plan to continue in the future.
And I will say that the workforce, one of them, I think one of them was a workforce grant, right, Ms. Escobar?
But yeah, both those
That's
2 years were workforce grants.
workforce
Yes.
grant. So there's a connection, right? Even though we're in K through 12 arena, here's workforce providing resources. We wanted to just showcase how we use that money in a very impactful way, and this is one of them, right? Um, so yeah, and Ms. Escobar was just very instrumental in writing those grants, making sure we administer them, make sure we you know we put together a good a good experience for those young females. So Ms. Escobar, real quick, I'm gonna skip that, and I'm gonna go right into engineers elementary.
Okay. Well. Okay.
Oh, you wanted to, oh, I'm sorry, you want
Yeah.
to go into, okay, sorry, go ahead.
Couple other things. Okay, so there's a couple other things that we're working on. Just to let you know that what we've been doing.
Let me stop sharing.
We
You want to share?
Yes.
Okay, let me stop share real quick. Boom.
Go ahead
All
and
right.
share. So I'm just actually going to show you the splash page that you worked on yesterday.
Perfect.
Here we go. So we have so our calendars have been super packed. I'm sure as many of y'all's has been. In fact, more packed now. I don't know how that happened. I was like, sweet, get to work from home. I'm
Oh my
like gonna take
gosh,
it easy, and it's been worse. In fact,
it has been worse.
I don't know why, but me and Mr. Perez find ourselves working till like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning now. It's like, what happened to that 8 to 5 time in the office that we were supposed to work at? But anyway,
I love seeing Miss Escobar's face, but whenever I see her face, I associate it with work.
great. So we do have some great partnerships, and one is with UTRGV Gear Up, who's here right now, Ms. Vanji Blanco, and we just finished working on a lot of stuff for her. So we did some summer camps, and then we did some after school in October. We had a great time doing some after school enrichment camps with the kids. We went all out, like we dressed up, we had fun, and again, it was all about we did digital e-portfolios, we did escape room games, digital citizenship, and STEM at home. Those were the 4 topics that we did. So we did that for them. Also, in addition, we're training teachers on using their vernier chemistry equipment at home. So what does that look like teaching remotely? Help, here we have equipment. How is that going to transition, and especially chemistry, that kind of course? How is that kind of instruction happening to students remotely? So we're trying to help them with that, and we have a partnership with Vernier, and we'll be doing the second day in January. And of course, we
let's,
have a lot of initiatives with UTRGV.
let's allow Miss Blanco an opportunity to address the team real quick and explain from her perspective, right? What does it look like on their end? What is their vision? So we can all kind of understand what is the grand design, because it really is their vision. We're just kind of the enabler that partners with them, but really it's their design. So Mr. Blanco, if you want to address the group real quick.
Yes. Hi. Good morning, everybody. Again, like I said before at the beginning, my introduction, I'm the science specialist. Our grant is very unique compared to a lot of Europe grants that many of you are familiar with. We have content experts in our areas, and so I'm the science. So I'm one part of the STEM initiative. We're our STEM-driven grant, and then we also have an English specialist and a math specialist. And the idea behind, of course, Europe is to prepare students for post-secondary education and on. But when it comes to STEM initiatives, um, we not only work with students, but we also work with teachers and with parents. And so all this ties in, and they kind of, kind of create this web, right, of how they're gonna all be connected together. And so, right, this year we really focused on the support of our teachers. We conducted a survey. Teachers were facing a lot of challenges from the moment on as they came onto remote learning, right? It's like one teacher said, I pretty much interviewed for this job as a teacher, and now I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing as an educator. And he's been a teacher for over 20 years, right? And I said, don't worry, we got you. We're gonna help you. And so with a fantastic partnership that we have through Region One, we've talked about different things and how to support our teachers. But as a specialist for the science area, it was really important for me, and not only from the grant, but to really provide the teachers with resources and support that they can use now. A lot of times, as an educator myself, I would attend training, and they were great ideas and it was great, content, but it was stuff that I either didn't have equipment for or stuff that was planned for the following year, and that's not what we wanted to do. And so we've been working really closely with of course Mr. Perez and Mrs. Escobar to really give them things that they can just turn around and do the next day or the following week. And so it's very content driven. It's of course we use the engineering design, 'cause, that's very important also. We want them to think outside the box with a lot of the activities that we're doing. And so we take some of that stuff and then we relate it to the students. We try to make those connections with the students as well, letting them know what's coming down the pipeline with their teachers and how we're supporting their teachers, because we also survey our students and our students are saying, we're tired of being on the Zoom. It's not engaging. Our teachers, are they look upset. They looked overwhelmed. Um, I feel like I need to help my teacher. Sometimes I have to help them. You know, on this Google Meets, can you help them and help them navigate through that? And not only that, we also have parents. Now that we're in this virtual world, I tell the educators, you are literally welcoming the entire household to your classroom. So if you don't think parents are paying attention, they are. And we've heard them. We have a lot of parent sessions where we bring in STEM initiatives and we talk about all the amazing things that we're doing in the grant. And the parents tell us, help our teachers. They look like they're struggling. They look frustrated. They don't even know how to, work a room, or, they're just lecturing all day. Can you guys help them? And these are parents that are asking for help for their child. And so when we think of programming, we try to think of all those three aspects, and provide all that support that they need at the level. And when it comes to student events, I mean, we want it to be engaging, we want it to be fun. I know Sylvia mentioned we had something called Oktoberfest. We dressed up; it was a whole Halloween theme, and
Yes,
so
it was.
the kids got excited. They they dressed up themselves. We had staff that dressed up, and it was really about STEM education and how to really just have fun for what the things that you have at home, right? We always think about the things that we don't have, and there's a lot of things that we have at home that we can still make it fun and exciting and still connect those things. And then of course, we do a lot of career exploration and stuff like that, because our students right now are in the 10th grade level, and so a lot of them are already have decided what their path is, and so these camps are very tiered to those particular set of students. But then we also have students that have no idea what they want to do, and so we also welcome them, and we try to share with them what they can, what are there's some things in there. And of course, I'm always pushing STEM, but we do have several students that want to do both. They want to maybe have a STEM career, but they also want to venture out into other things. And so it's really exciting. We have a lot of initiatives, like Sylvia said, we keep them very busy. But we're very fortunate to have an amazing team that hears out our vision, because we're always thinking of innovative ways to do something different. What's coming out new, we don't want to, repeat the same type of programming to our teachers, our parents, our students. And so those are a couple of things that we've been doing. And I'm excited already with some of the people that are on here, because I do want to reach out to you with some of the ideas that we have in the upcoming school year. But I mean, that was a little bit about, what we're doing right now at UTRGV Gear Up.
Thank you, Ms. Blanco. Real quick, just to clarify, which campuses does your Gear Up span across, your Gear Up grant?
Yes, so we have 4,100 students in our cohort, across the UTR RGV, and so we are in 3 school districts: in Brownsville ISD, we are in La Jolla, and we're in Edinburgh, and we're working with 6 high schools. So in Brownsville, because I know there was somebody from Brownsville, we are at Porter, Lopez, and Rivera. With Edinburgh CISD, we're at Economides High School, and I know there's someone on here from La Jolla. In La Jolla, we're at La Jolla High and Juarez Lincoln. Those are our 6 high schools that we are working with, for the remainder of the grant. And our grant is in the 4th year. Our kids are in 10th grade, and we will continue them until their 1st year of college.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for that. And again, I just want to clarify. Um, so these grants are very, very grade level specific. They follow a cohort of students. Ms. Benibo, real quick, in Corpus Christi, do y'all have anything like that similar, Dr. Benibo, for in the Corpus Christi area?
No, not that targets our students. Of course, we have the normal upward bound and things like that,
Okay.
but we don't, I know that, I think it was in 2000, some years back, I used to be the year coordinator for another district
Okay.
in the area. And that kind of fizzled out. And
Sure.
so no, we do not have that. That is as rigorously and as well planned as that. I'll be interested. I know it's really mostly in the RGV area, but I would like to have an idea of, how can we sprinkle some of that goodness around here? I'll be happy to. I'll be happy to take what I got.
I mean,
Whatever.
Definitely. Definitely.
yeah, I mean, I think definitely one of our I mean, I would have to say, one of our big things is we move on to different grade levels, but what we leave behind is sustainability. And
Mhm.
so even though, we're working, like, let's say with our 10th grade right now, we did leave some programming behind for ninth grade, and we train our teachers, the counselors, administration on campus, and let them know, hey, we might be moving on to the next grade level or moving on from your campus, but you can still continue doing these things with these amazing partners that we reach out to, because they're also available. I know Region 1 does amazing things with all of our schools across the RGV. And so we tell them, you can use this, continue the work that we've established with the cohort, and continue doing the same thing for the rest of the campuses. Some of the ideas have also been shared with other grade levels as well. So, we do not mind sharing. We do not mind, creating. The more the better. I mean, all of us at the end of the day are on the same path to prepare students and to help our communities. And so I think it's a great opportunity to something like this, the ecosystem, for us to collaborate that way. So yeah, definitely you can cater any of these programs the needs of your particular area or campus.
And because of our distance from the RGV area, it is, we always see programs that we wish we could go make a quick turnaround and come back. But always, you either do that, or you're either able to do that quick turnaround and come back, or then you begin to make plans for overnight. Those kinds of things become impediments for us being able to connect with really, really good programs in the Region 1 area. So with we didn't plan for this remote kind of learning, but one of the benefits of it is that it now lets us know that there are possibilities, and there is a little four-letter word called Zoom.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, definitely, I just wanted to make sure that people connected to Recharge EV Europe and just Europe programs in general, right? There's just tremendous programs, federally funded programs that, if you can find creative ways to connect with these groups, uh, they don't give away money, but if you're strategic about it, you can definitely partner with them and do some amazing work, right? Um, Ms. Escobar?
Right. So thank you, Ms. Blanco, for sharing. And Gear Up has been a great partner. Not only UTRGV, but we also have our own Region 1 Gear Up. They're at ninth grade, so we have different grade levels, so they're not competing. Thank goodness, because I don't know what we would do if that happened. But we all work together. So for our Region 1 Gear Up, we also just finished a series of camps for them as well. So we're doing remote student camps, and we started in June doing these remote student camps. And this last one that we just did right before Thanksgiving, it was a short camp. They were only 3-hour camps, but we had the kids creating a type of artificial intelligent program using Python coding at the end. So it was kind of crazy. Like, here we are doing this remote and we're having kids program with Python. And I was reading the feedback from the camps yesterday, and that's what the kids absolutely loved, being able to get their hands on doing Python coding. And a lot of them feel like they can't do it, but when they just make a small program, and it was like a 25, maybe 20, 25 line program, and they get it to work, it's just like their eyes are opened. And that's exactly what we need to do by planting the seed. So also with Region 1 Gear Up, we're also training teachers. We have a cohort of teachers, 21 teachers, as a matter of fact, that we are seeing at least once a month on a Saturday. We also have a course that's supporting what we're doing with them, but we are trying to support them so that at the end of the year, they can challenge the computer science Texas teacher certification. So they're already certified to teach something. A lot of them are teaching some sort of computer science, but they're not certified. And that's what we wanted to do, is help districts help to train those teachers so that they could successfully take the test and pass it, because we need highly qualified teachers to be teaching these courses. So that's what we're doing with this program. We have 21 teachers in that cohort, and we're supporting them with that. We're also going to have them take an online course through UT Austin We Teach program, and they're even going to learn more, especially tailored towards the test prep. So that's the idea. This is like a pilot that we have that we're doing with Europe. We hope that we can stay in that program with just any teachers eventually and have a cohort every year, because we want to support teachers, because we have districts that want to provide computer science courses, but they don't have the teachers to teach them. And so we want to be able to support teachers and help them with that. So that is our Region 1 Gear Up as well.
I want to also, Ms. Escobar, it's on the chat. Miss Mary Langford from Centon mentioned that they also have a Gear Up grant, that they're in their third year. Miss Langford, if you want to give a little summary of what that looks like.
Well, I was listening to what Sylvia was saying, and y'all's was more specific for computer science. Ours is more broad for CCMR, and our are also ninth graders. Our cohort are ninth graders, and it's really been a great experience for our teachers and staff as we've focused on helping our teachers be sure that their curriculum has reached the rigor that it needs to be. And that is also a very difficult thing to do during this particular time when you're having to do a lot of online teaching, because we're trying to get all, to be able to go to college or whatever next level that they want to do. So we're trying to get them all TSI tested and find their niche. And then this year we were lucky enough to get another grant, the Ed Root grant. And so that we're partnering with the Gear Up, and we are just making leaps and bounds because we did get quite a bit of money on both fronts. And so it's really been able to help jumpstart our kids. We have a great group of dual credit kids already that we're able to support. We pay for everything, but we're able to expand what we're going to offer, if that makes sense. And the education for our parents has probably been an outside benefit that they've known about, through our STEM and everything, but now we have even more money to help educate our parents and give them that direct support.
Definitely. Thank you, Ms. Langford. Thank you for that. And again, Europe can look many different ways. Real quick, Ms. Escobar, I wanted to just welcome Ms. Guerra with Mercedes. Thank you for joining this morning. We appreciate you being here. We're just going to different partners, kind of having people share out what they're doing on horizons and projects.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Escobar?
Good morning, Ms. Guerra. Okay, and a couple of other things that we have going on. We did finish a four-day PBL Saturday Academy with Escobar Rios. It was not named after me, but Escobar Rios.
It was so
Mission.
good they named the campus after you, Ms. Escobar.
Hey, it's my school. No. But Escobar Rios in Mission CISD. So this is interesting because Escobar Rios is going to rebrand themselves as a PBL elementary. So now they're not STEAM or STEM. They're saying they're going straight to the instructional framework. So they're going to become a PBL elementary. And we trained their teachers, all their teachers, for 4 days. 4 Saturdays, we went through a PBL overview, which is project-based learning overview. And then we did modeling. And then we helped them to develop their first PBL unit. And they took away with them their concrete idea. So it was a really great 4 days that we had with them. We're continuing our partnership with them, and you know, we're seeing that we're working with more and more elementaries, and we'll talk a little bit about a different initiative that we're having with La Jolla in just a second. We also we're halfway into training with IDEA San Juan, IDEA College Prep San Juan, and then a couple of other schools as well. They're sending people. So we did a 1-day STEM overview, and we are about to schedule a second day project-based learning overview with them. So that was with like about 75 people that we're doing this with. And so we love our partnership with IDEA. And of course, we're going to continue that partnership as well for many, many years to come. And
I don't know
then,
if we want to give Ms. Peñales
yes.
a chance to address some of the vision for IDEA around that whole initiative. Ms. Peñales?
Good morning. So yes, thank you again, Gustavo and Sylvia, for joining San Juan. And so our initial thoughts with that PD was just to make sure that we just re-energized everyone around. I think this was perfect year to launch again PD just in general, so that everyone at the campus level could find their place in the STEM designation in the program. And so we took that PD, we invited representatives from our other 5 STEM designated campuses. And so I'm looking forward to planning PD for the other schools. And again, it was just simply a good opportunity this year with COVID and everything to find other ways to just re-energize our people and just, you know, animate the culture right now with STEM. And so I'm super excited. I'm grateful. And so our plan is just to work a little bit more on the culture at my 6 campuses, just around making sure that every teacher can find their place in the STEM program.
And definitely. And so one of the things that we reiterated, you know, definitely when you're talking about culture, right? Ideal Public Schools has a very strong academic culture. They have a vision for the school. If you go to any campus, you're going to see that culture. You're going to see it in the behaviors of the students, in the behaviors of the administrators, right? Just 100% high expectations for students. However, it doesn't mean that they don't have opportunities for growth, right? Here, you know, the vision is how can those teachers expand what they're doing to encompass a bit more of the STEM, right? Supporting STEM career pathways, and that requires change, right? And so whenever you're including a little bit of change, you're gonna get some pushback. I mean, it's the bottom line. Who likes to change, right? So part of that initiative is really modeling for the schools and for the teachers what a PBL looks like, and then going after consistency and just reiterating, making sure that they have operational definitions for the model, and having that consistency, right? That the administrators, when they go into a PBL classroom, that they have the right tools to evaluate what's happening in the classroom, because it may look a lot different than traditional instruction, right? So again, the culture piece, yeah, there's always this nice little balance between, okay, what are we doing well and what are we going to change, right? And so how are we going to manage this change? How are we going to support people that are going through this process, right? So we're happy to be part of that initiative with Idea Public Schools and happy to be there to support their efforts. Okay, Ms. Escobar.
Right. And let me get out of this. Okay. And then a couple of other things that we have going. So this is why we're staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning. We have a course that we're working on for TEA. So TEA awarded us a grant in order to develop this course. So the whole idea is Mr. Perez, let me let you talk about the purpose of this.
Sure. So because we've been doing T-STEM programming for, since 2007, right? TEA asked us to kind of say, hey, can y'all develop a course to build capacity around the state where we don't have professionals that really understand the model and the vision for STEM in Texas? We need basically to clone ESC specialists in other regions, in region 5, in region 8, in region 12 across the state. So they asked us, hey, we'll provide you with a little bit of funding if you will develop some courses for some of our regional service centers across the state. So we are developing this course for every single, to be taken by every ESC STEM lead across the state of Texas. However, Region 1 owns the course. So our vision is that we're gonna, I guess, put a price tag on the course. If somebody wants to take the course as an administrator or a campus leader, they can take this course. I think the fee is going to be for the year, because there's 7 modules. It's going to be 1,400. I think it's $1,400 is the fee, but it includes 7 modules that are comprehensive around STEM programming. So, Ms. Escobar, if you want to go over the modules real quick, initially this is being rolled out to ESC specialists who are servicing their sectors across the state, specifically focusing on what are called Lone Star STEM campuses, right? These campuses are given a little bit of money, right? And they're being asked to develop this STEM programming. These are the modules that we feel are critical as they engage them in providing services. So we're again, the audience for this particular courses are ESC specialists, right? That have been designated the STEM leads for different regions, right? So we have 2 folks in region 2, 2 folks, or 1 folk in region 4, region 5. There's 20 regions in the state of Texas, but we are the developers and we are the owners of the course. Our vision again is to make this course more universally accessible, but for now it's being limited to just the ESCs across the state of Texas. So, Ms. Escobar, if you want to give an overview of what the modules are and what you could expect to do to engage in at a later date.
Right. So we have the first module that we've done is our STEM overview module. So it's just, and we've aligned this module to TEA's vision. So one thing that's really great is that even though this is our course, TEA is reviewing it all the way to the top. So they're making sure there's fidelity to their TEA STEM program, which just strengthens what we've done here. And so we're really excited about that, even though we kind of grumble about it because they're being kind of hard on us at times. They're like, oh, you forgot this period, you forgot this sentence, you forgot this, there's too many spaces, right? And we grumble about it, but really it's a positive for us because, I mean, TEA is going to approve this course when we're done with it, even though it belongs to Region 1. So that, and then that means they're also going to market it for us, which is really great. And we've got that TA stamp of approval. So we have our STEM overview, which is aligned to the TA model for STEM education. Then we have our STEM project problem-based learning portion. And we do lean a lot on PBL Works. And we just had a meeting with PBL Works, and PBL Works also gave us their blessing for this course, which we're really excited about that. So because they have a great PBL framework. But that's so the STEM module is kind of like an introduction. The actual first module is the PBL module. Second will be inquiry-based student-centered instruction. So now we're talking about, when we align this to T-TEST also, how advanced is bringing inquiry into classroom instruction. The one that we're currently working on right now is the technology literacy and integration. So not only in general for classroom instruction, but what it looks like for STEM and in particular project-based learning, integrating technology. We have embedded literacy instruction and strategies, collaborative teaching and learning, and finally growth mindset and resilience. So again, Mr. Perez said, this is tailored toward the ESCs, but our plans are to tailor it towards teachers as well, so that we will eventually have a course not only for leadership, but also for teachers that can that will take this and all encompassed. If you want to learn about STEM education, here's the information about STEM education. And so we're really excited about this, and we thank TA for giving us this opportunity. And it's a privilege to be able to create something, again, backed by TA, but also that all the ESCs are going to be able to take and run and help and support their district. So we're really happy with this. Okay, and then the other thing I want to mention is so let's talk about upcoming events. I apologize for the cat. The Texas STEM Conference, which we also have a hand in every year. Let me give you the web page. Texas STEM Conference this year, it's happening virtually. So they do have it is open for proposals. I know I sent an email out to a lot of people earlier this week. They're open for proposals. It is happening virtually February 11th through the 12th this year. So it's coming up very soon. Registration is open. And if you're willing, if you want to present, they also are asking for vendors They have vendor booths, virtual booths too. So if you're interested in the Texas STEM conference, I will give you the website in
It's there.
the chat. Oh, thank
I
you so
put it there.
much. Thank you. So please sign up for that. And then Mr. Perez, you want to talk about the STEM Summit at this time?
So, well, the only thing is that we're not going to do it. We have it usually in February. We're going to reschedule it to the summer, right? So we felt that it was important to do a face-to-face initiative, especially with STEM, right? So we're going to shoot for June 22nd through 24th.
July.
Right?
July.
Oh, I'm sorry, July. So I'm going to put in the chat here the 2021 South Texas STEM Summit, right? And again, that's at the Isla Grande Beach Resort every year, right? And it's going to be July 22nd through the 24th. So nice warm weather. If you want to get down to, we're inviting different vendors to come down. So we usually don't have an issue with them coming down. But yeah, we're going to postpone it to July just because of COVID. And there seems to be a lot of conferences happening and people are getting a little bit burned out with just the virtual variety. So we're hoping that by July, we've already kind of gone over the curve, and hopefully we'll be able to provide a great experience for everyone seeking more of a face-to-face experience. So again, we're postponing to July 22nd through 24th. So maybe mark that on your calendars uh, as a save the date.
Great. And then the last thing I want to talk about, and that'll lead me into a little quick overview of this. So we do have a standing relationship with La Jolla ISD. What we've done in the past is we've trained. So La Jolla has really, they have really embraced the engineering is elementary curriculum, and we love EIE as well. And what we do is we have a partnership with EIE. So with the local rep who was supposed to be here, but he couldn't make it after all, Mr. Chuy Garcia. And whenever Chuy talks to a district about EIE, then he turns around and says, well, Region 1 will provide the professional development for it. So what we've done with La Jolla the last 2 years is we have they've purchased all the curriculum for their elementary teachers at 6 different STEM elementaries, and we've trained every grade level on the modules. So they've done 2 modules. So we'll do like kinder. We get all the kinder teachers from all 6 campuses. So that's about 30 teachers because it's about 5 per campus, and we get them all together. So we have all the kinder teachers and we go over both modules with them. So not only do we go over the curriculum, but we have them actually run through the module, because when you do a hands-on module, teachers need to actually do it themselves in order to get a better idea of how they're going to roll it out with the students. That way they can see, okay, these are the challenges my students are going to have. I need to up the game using this. Maybe here's some technology, here's some other tools I can bring in. And so we model it with the teachers, and that's the training model that we have with La Jolla. They have added, so we've done that K through 5. So we've done kinder for 2 modules, each grade level, me and Mr. Perez. And this year they've added 2 new schools, 2 new elementary schools. So we're about to start training them, but this time we're going to do it virtually, remotely, which is interesting because this is a majorly hands-on kit, but we're going to be working with EIE and training their teachers coming up very soon.
So another reason why we're mentioning AIE is because the reality is this, that you cannot inherit a group of students, whether you're high school, whether you're TSM Academy, and start the conversation with your students when they're freshmen. In many ways, that's a little bit too late. So EIE is a good way to kind of engage your elementaries with STEM programming at an earlier age. It is a supplemental curriculum, right? I will say that it's supplemental, but it's very, very structured. It's a project-based curriculum. Every single unit is, and Ms. Oscar is going to go over it right now, but every single unit addresses the STEM careers, and it addresses project-based learning in a very specific way. So if you're looking a way to engage your feeder schools, your elementary schools, this is a outstanding curriculum that provides that initial conversation, because we're seeing that students are going into STEM academies and they've never done any type of STEM programming. And that's a little bit too late, right? the conversation for STEM awareness has to happen very, very early on. And this provides teachers with a nice structured way that supports them, doesn't require too much on their end because it has the literacy, it reinforces reading and writing for sure, it reinforces the career connections, but then it also has students engage in direct hands-on challenges. And by the way, these challenges, we've used them all the way up to high school. But so it depends on how you scaffold it, right? Of course, for the high school kids, we have a little bit more requirements on the measurement side, on the justification, on the research. But they're really complete, structured experiences for students that we feel bring tremendous value to any K through 12 STEM model. So again, as you engage your feeder schools, your elementary schools, have them take a second look at EIE because again, it's going to create that culture. So when you get the students, they've already had some experience with PBL, with engineering design, and it's just going to be a win-win for you to develop this pathway, this K through 12 pathway. What you don't want is to have elementary just kind of be checked out with STEM, because then when you get them as students, you're having to develop this culture. That culture can start very, very early on, as early as kinder and first grade, and move and as they move up. So, Ms. Escobar, I guess let's go over some of the modules and see what it looks like.
Yeah, and I'll just give a really brief overview. And Miss Pinales, Mission, their PBL Academy, they're starting off with their own PBLs from scratch, create them from scratch. But we have had conversations with them about EIE because it's already really well, I don't want to say packaged, but it is, and it's a great starting point for PBLs too. So we've had a conversation with them about EIE, and we're hoping that they will, in turn, get EIE. We've also done trainings with San Benito. They have a STEAM academy with engineering. They've also adopted engineering as elementary, and Brownsville also. I know we've had a couple trainings with Brownsville too, as far as EIE is concerned. So a real quick overview of EIE, and I'm just going to go through the modules. So every module. Let me start right here. So the first thing is that these are science-based modules. So they have earth science, life science, and physical science units. And here you could see the science topic. Here's the title. And each one of these units is tied to an engineering field. And that's really important because that's actually a part of the curriculum, which I'm going to talk about. And then the other thing that's important is every unit has a different story setting. I think there's only 3 in the United States. The rest of them are outside. So this provides a whole other opportunity to tie in cultures and world geography with students. They do a little bit of it in the curriculum, but it's just another area where elementary teachers can really open up that piece as well. So these are the different modules that they have, the 20 different modules. As you can see on the cover is a student, and that is the main character of the book. The student is often from the culture that the place setting that it's from. They also have 2 students. They have 2 students with disabilities, one that is a child in a wheelchair and another one with who's neurodiverse. And they this child in the book has a problem, or their parents have a problem, or they see a problem at home, and they lean on an engineering type of mentor, whether it's a family member or it's a neighbor, to get a solution to the problem. And then at the very end, the solution to the problem of the book is very vague, because that's actually going to lead to the project that the kids are going to do. They don't want to give it away to the kids on how the character in the story. But what does this do when we have a storybook? So first of all, we have a huge opportunity for literacy here. The storybooks are easy reads, but they're good 20, 25, 30 pages long. They have a character, and we've found that in order to attract females to engineering and STEM, you need some sort of context with a character that females can care about, and also that has some sort of real world problem that they're trying to overcome. And that's what this brings with these books. And again, it does talk about the culture of the region that these students are from. And a lot of these students are having issues that, like, I remember one in particular. I think it's this one about Lorado. I think she's in South Africa, but the issue that she's having is her parents will not let her go to college because she's got to take care of her younger siblings, but she has this dream about going to college. And so, we know a lot of our kids have that issue too, especially here in the Rio Grande Valley. So a lot of these kids have real world problems that other students can relate to. Another one, they miss out on some chores and they get in trouble by their parents, and their problem is that they have to try and figure out a way to remind themselves about the chore that they have to do. And so they're really, really solid books. And what you do with the first lesson is you actually start off with the reading of the book. And by the way, this curriculum comes with full teacher guides. They come with with binders with everything. Like it has questions for teachers. It has how they could scaffold for students with special needs or even challenge students at an upper level. Everything is there for teachers, questions to ask the kids, everything, vocabulary list. They even have assessments. They have a pre and post test as well in there. They have worksheets. So everything that the teacher needs. And of course, all of this has recently gone digital on their site. So now they have a digital license to everything. So all you have to do is PDF everything. You don't even need regular binder. But we start off with reading the story. So the first lesson is always about the storybook. So you read that with the kids. You develop, about what the kids are learning about the characters, the story and the problem, and the region, of course. This lesson 2 is always about the engineering field. So here, the mentor that the child had in the book was of a certain engineering field. And some of these engineering fields I didn't even know were around, but they are around. And so the second lesson ties it in. So now it really goes into deep about what they do in that engineering field. They do use a modified version of the engineering design process, is the one that EIE has for elementary students. Lesson 3, now that's your science connection. So this one is a lot of experimentation. So now the kids are trying to create this product in order to solve this problem, but first they need to learn about the materials that they're going to be using. So they get to test materials, they get to see, they get to collect data in this section. And then based on the data that they collect in lesson 3, that will inform the product that they create in lesson 4, which is the solution to the problem. So it's really, really well designed. This is your design challenge. And again, in the storybook, they leave the design challenge very open-ended so that the kids won't exactly see, oh, this is how the kid did it in the book, so I'm going to do it that way too. And this is where things really shine as far. And some of these design challenges are not easy to do, but again, based on the data, it's open-ended enough that the kids have to base the materials that they use on the data that they got in lesson 3. Every one of these design projects is designed for teams of 3. So kids collaborate. They have to definitely be creative. They have critical thinking and communication throughout the whole lesson. And there's a lot of avenues for that in there too. And again, it's just a really, really good, so also if you wanted to look more into this curriculum, and let me go over here again, everything's digital, but something else that we really, really like, because I mean, they do use items that you can find around the house, but not a typical house. I mean, you could buy everything at Walmart, but
In
it's
my house,
oh, not my house.
I have everything.
You can really buy everything at a grocery store. However, I've had to shop for this, and it's fine and dandy that you can find things at a grocery store, but not when you have to buy like 100 or 150 different things, and you're looking for different measurements. And they have a 16-ounce cup, but they don't have an 8-ounce cup, and it's a little frustrating. So what they do is, so they have the curriculum that I just went over is called their Engineering is Elementary. It's made for first through 5th grade. But they do have for each one of these. So I'm going to go into one of them. Again, if you buy the book, oh, that's probably the wrong one I should have gone into. Let me do this one. They also have the bin of, here we go. So not only do they sell the book, the storybook, they also now sell the digital book. But look right here, they have the whole materials kit in these nice bins with consumables and non-consumables. So teachers also appreciate that. Like for example, rulers, you get rulers and then you can use them for whatever else you want. And of course the consumables you don't use again. But they have these bins that you purchase at a very reasonable price and everything you need is in there. So when we do trainings, we actually purchase the bins and then we give the rest of the materials that are left back to the school. So we do include that. And then the last thing I just want to talk about really quickly is they have a We Engineering for pre-K. They have an engineering for elementary for kinder. So it's based on the books, but they're a younger version. Then they have the engineering as elementary, which is the one I went over, what, first through fifth. They also have integrated STEM and a flexible engineering. So these are more for, they do have like more like after school engineering, and they do have a 6th through 8th grade one for an after school engineering, which is a little bit different. It's like windmills, you know, it's a little bit different type of project. It's not so content science driven. It's more on the engineering STEM side. And then the other thing that they just came out, and I'm not super familiar with it because I mean, it's brand new, but we're going to be looking at it very soon, is they have a new computer science curriculum that's also tied to a lot of the engineering stories, but now it's the computer science side of what the kids are doing with the engineering. And so we're going to be diving deeper into that. And again, that's for first through fifth. Again, we really love this. They've been great partners for us. We've been formally trained, so we're TOT trainers for EIE. And yeah, I think that's it, Mr. Pettis.
If you go back to the presentation, Mrs. Escobar, go to the engineering design process real quick for a second on your PowerPoint real quick on the EIE presentation real quick. I just want to bring out something real quick that's going to impact every single science teacher in the state of Texas. And this revolves around the current updates to the science standards. So the science standards are getting a huge revamp, and the most change is happening in elementary, right? So what TA is doing is the next version of the science standards, in particular the process standards, are going to embed the engineering practices. And what you're going to see is this, right? So now every single science course is going to be defined by a direct link to engineering practices into the standards. So if you think about the 5E model, right, which is the classic framework for science instruction, explore, explain, elaborate, and then the other one is what is it? What are the E's? I forget. So it's explore, explain,
elaborate.
no, I think I'm missing. I think I'm missing elaborate. Well, just pull it up here. Give me one quick second here. So
Okay.
let's pull up the 5E model for me real quick. And this is going to be just to kind of wrap your head around what is the change and what is an impact. So here's one model for the 5E model. And again, this is what drives K through 12 science instruction, right? Most science teachers, even at middle school, will follow this stage. There's engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, right? If you go to how is this going to impact the science teaks? Well, there'll still be an engage, there'll still be an explore, there'll be an explain, but in the elaborate stage, you're going to see a change to engineering, right? Very similar to what this is the Association for of Science for Engineering Education. And if you look in here, and it gets a 2995 page document, if you go all the way to the bottom, you're going to see this model of the new 5E model that's going to impact a lot of what you're going to see in science education. So instead of elaboration, just for elaboration's sake, you're going to see lesson requirements to have kids engineer something, create a solution. So right here, you'll see it here. If you want to blow it up a little bit more, Mrs. Escobar, with the plus symbol, right? So you have your typical science lesson of engaging students, exploring, explaining, but then you're going to have kids engineer something. What does that mean? Should require students to enact the engineering practices and habits while applying the appropriate engineering concepts that are scientific, mathematical, technical in order to complete the engineering tasks to resolve the challenge. This is boot camp for T-STEM, right? When you get kindergartners, first grade, second grade, third grade, this is going to be the new normal in every science classroom in the state of Texas, right? The State Board of Education has just reviewed the standards. You're going to see a big change. You're going to see science teachers K through 12 kick and scream because it's change, right? Because it's something else I got to deal with. Now it's not they'll be like, well, I have to teach science. Now I have to teach engineering too. Well, you're teaching the engineering practices, and this is what it's going to look like. So anyway, they're going to need resources. We believe that EIE is one of the resources that can fill this gap, but this is where it's headed. This is what's going to happen, and you're going to see us in chemistry, in biology, in physics. Well, physics is already there. Physics already does a lot of engineering, but chemistry not so much, and definitely not biology. But they're going to be impacted as well by having students apply the biology skills and concepts. So if you have a teacher who's very traditional about teaching biology, and maybe just does labs every once in a while, they're going to get shocked. Because not only do they have to do the labs, now they have to have kids actually create products around those lab experiences. Why do I do a titration? Why is it important to know pH? And there has to be an application. So any science teacher who, first of all, maybe not be strong in doing lab experiences, we're going to have to build that capacity, because now they're being asked to develop products and solutions based on that scientific knowledge. We believe that having those early experiences in K through 5 is just going to prepare those students to be able to be more successful when they get to secondary experiences, not just in science education, but in general STEM education as a whole. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys that overview of how engineering design process is impacting science, how's it impacting standards, and for our K through, for our higher ed and our work-based partners, just wanted to give them an overview of what it's going to look like in the K through 12 world. Okay, so now that we're all confused,
No.
now that we're all confused, I do want to open it up, open forum to some of our partners. I'd like to start off with Jerry, if you're still on, real quick. Mr. Gonzalez, Jerry Gonzalez. Let's see here. Let me pull
You're
up.
muted, Mr. Gonzalez.
Sorry. Yeah,
go
I'm
ahead.
here.
Yeah, if you'd like to go ahead and if you want to share the screen, or if you want to just kind of speak in general about kind of what you do, because we haven't heard too much about higher ed and some of the activities regarding
Okay.
just some of the work that you do to support just STEM education.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate it. Well, as you guys know, my name is Jerry Gonzalez. I'm with RGB Focus, and we're a collaboration with Educate Texas, which is under a foundation, actually a foundation called Communities Foundation of Texas. And so we were launched in 2012 to transform college readiness, access, and success across the Rio Grande Valley within the 4 county regions, of Cameron, Hidalgo, Star, and Willacy. So as my position, I just came on board in February. So it was actually a month, right, before that pandemic hit, like in March. I'll never forget it. And as a deputy director for RGV Focus, my responsibility is to work with regional partners to engage with district and campus leadership, education service centers, workforce partners, and institutions of higher education for implementing our RGV Focus strategic priorities or focus areas, but mine specifically in the workforce realm. So as you guys may know, the vision of RGV Focus is to help all learners to achieve a degree or credential that leads to a meaningful career in one of the many industries of opportunities in the Valley, such as education, health services, or advanced manufacturing. So some of the things I've been working on since I've been here, one of the things that we went after recently, we were invited actually by the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas to apply for a grant, which is called the Advance Together Grant. And this grant basically provides funding to come up with the design of how to promote kind of like career pathways, really. But it's what we came up with. Our idea was to kind of do like what we call it a pilot, really, but it's focusing on 3 industries, and we based this off of the Texas Workforce Commission, our local workforce boards, what they feel are high demand industries. And so we decided to focus on cybersecurity, healthcare, and construction, which encompasses like advanced manufacturing, things like that. And so we were one of 9 communities that were invited to apply. And we were the only community within Texas as far as to represent South Texas. So this is kind of a big deal. We should know hopefully this month if we receive the award, and we've partnered with South Texas College to provide what we call training for these 3 industries, but to provide a industry recognized credential where a certain number of students will be allowed, who get selected, will be allowed to receive training to get a industry recognized credential in one of those 3 areas. And that's our way of looking at, promoting, more of a way for adult learners to basically have job access in the Valley. And we believe that this could be a model, if successful, which we think it will be. We can maybe, use this to develop cross-sector partnerships throughout the region.
Sure. So Jerry, we do have some schools.
Looking at through.
Yes.
Yes.
So we do have some schools that part of their design is cybersecurity, a cybersecurity pathway. They do have healthcare pathways, right?
Okay.
Is the grant going to be just limited to the Region 1 area? Because we also have a lot of schools in the Corpus Christi area that are also T-STEM that are trying to develop these healthcare pathways.
No, great question. Right now, we're gonna the initial part will be if we when we see this grant, it will be for just the region here with RGV, but then our goal is to expand it.
Okay.
So in the future, so it's more like that's what we kind of said. Like this would be like a pilot first, and then as it becomes successful, then we would like to eventually expand it out. So we're gonna wait and see how that goes. But we really do think that it'll help provide. I think it'll promote regional collaboration as well.
Okay.
Within the RGV. Another thing I want to mention that we've actually recently partnered with. I don't know if you're familiar with the College First program with Ernesto Villarreal on a new initiative, and it's called the RGV Bridge to My Future program. And this program will be like a resource for school districts, but we're going to partner with our target 8 school districts where we might target seniors that have yet to declare a major. Maybe they haven't filled out the FAFSA or have not decided on a college, right? And so we consider these seniors to be, I hate to use the term, but like at risk of delaying their enrollment into college or not enrolling at all. Because as you know, right now, the fear going into this fall was a lot of the colleges having a what they call a gap year, where by students, because of the pandemic, they may choose not to go to college or to go to to get a higher education because of the pandemic. And so I know some colleges, they have seen a drop in enrollment, but believe it or not, actually I give credit to UTRGV. They upped their enrollment this year. And I think it was partly because people did stay home instead of going like outside of the region. They stayed here and went locally, but I think it's helping in that sense. But so we felt like this program would kind of be a help to push, helping those students who maybe are not sure of college to help them in completing the FAFSA and pushing them to look at career exploration for higher education.
Well, I had a question, Jerry, real quick.
Okay.
We had Ms. Epifania ask, how are the targeted districts identified with the College First initiative?
Well, and working in partnership with College First, they've done a lot of work with school districts, and so we kind of looked at some of the partners that they have currently with the school districts, and those that we have, and so that's kind of like how we decided to come up with that selection.
Okay.
Of course, now that we're about to launch it, there's probably going to be some MOUs that are going to be created, with these school districts. But we're excited about it. I think it's going to be definitely a benefit, and at least for now, for the ones that we're going to work with right now. But it's going to be a total of 8 school districts. Okay. So, yeah. But as far as with the STEM, I mean, we're definitely promoting. We have working on college, career readiness. We believe in of course the STEM courses. We think that is a priority, especially within our focus areas. Just kind of give you an idea of our focus areas is, one is our workforce, to promote workforce. We're to have those career pathways to get those industry recognized credentials, dual credits. Also it's secondary through post-secondary, where we look at increasing immediate enrollment to post-secondary after graduation. And then also looking at the middle school, where you have successful completion of 4-year of an intentional rigorous math pathway. And so those are things that we kind of work with our partners. And just to I just want to share one more thing for those of how we operate as an organization. We have a leadership team that we basically work through. And this leadership team is made up of the school districts, the higher education, and then philanthropic workforce and community leaders, where we align resources along the cradle to career educational pathway for our students and also the higher ed students. And so our results are measured along each step of the learner's journey from pre-K through higher education. So I just kind of wanted to share that because we use a lot of people are not familiar, but we use what we call a collective impact model approach, which is how we convene and work with our partners. Because we definitely don't go in and say, hey, we know it all. We want to work with you and, to really, you know what the community needs. We want to be a resource to help in any way we can. So, and in fact, I'll share a link of our resource.
Please, thank you.
So you can go to kind of check out, put it on the chat.
Thank you. And again, community foundations, they're actually the entity actually in charge of having oversight over our CCR SIM models. So if you're early college high school,
yes,
you're a T-STEM academy, you're a PTIC academy, you're a industry campus-based campus, your blueprint is monitored and oversight by community foundations of Texas. So your coaches that come out to see you, your technical coaches, those are all CFT funded coaches that are trying to make sure that you have fidelity to the model. So that's again tied to what Jerry's group here is at a local level. So any support that you may need around that, definitely reach out to Jerry as needed because they're the ones that are have direct oversight over those models.
Yeah, no, and thank you for sharing that, Gustavo, because in fact, we did hire, we have a new deputy director, Clarissa Torres. She's actually, working with the CCRSM model, and she would be a great person I can connect you with as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Any questions for Jerry? Any questions for Jerry from the group? Miss, you were muted, Miss Benibo. You mentioned something, but
I was just saying great information. Thank you. And I know that being so far from the Region 1 direct area, that we're aware of the fact that some things may not come immediately to us. But I always go back to the good thing about the remote reality is that now it is not going to be as complicated anymore to at least participate in some things, at least some knowledge sharing.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Ms. Benibo. Thank you, Jerry, for that. And again, reach out to Jerry as needed for any information around higher education and just CCR SEM. We're happy that they're here in the region. Collective impact, I agree. We kind of have to listen to each other and, find creative ways. I'm really excited about the Advance Together grant, Jerry. So as soon as you hear more about that, we'd be happy to help you disseminate that in different ways. So to communities here. So thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
I want to have also Mr. Jason Arms. I know we have some developments with robotics. I want to just on a different tone here. If you want to give us a little update, Mr. Arms, Jason. Let's see. Jason, if you're there. Jason, are you with us? Right. It's always funny. Okay. Okay.
I saw him take a call just a second
Okay,
ago.
that's fine. Anybody else want to give an update as we wait for anybody else want to take give an update on some activities? Either Mr. Lopez.
Yes,
Mario?
yes, yes.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. I'm sorry. When a little while ago I had to go run some errands, so I was hearing you guys in the car, in the lobby, and everywhere. So I've been listening on and off, but I just wanted to say, first of all, I am the director for Code RGV. We have been a little bit slowed down with everything going on, especially because we run mainly on a volunteer staff. So everybody has been busy trying to, survive and make some money. So we haven't bothered a lot of our volunteers with anything, but definitely we're excited always I just, last night I was just at Drew's house. Drew Lentz is the founder of Code RGV, and we were going over a few things, of what we want to do. We want to get back on the game on, everyone's been doing great on doing online things and all that. We are working with a few partners. PSJA, for example, is a big partner of ours. We're still doing we work in the regional pathways for cybersecurity that Gustavo was mentioning earlier. We work with a couple of cohorts of students, got them from to learning computer programming and getting them ready for STEM careers, and that's the purpose of the pathways. And we want to continue to do stuff like that and keep on partnering with everybody. That's what we're here with Region 1. We've been partners for years with Workforce also, and other entities here. I'm very excited that although this has been a really hard time for everybody, one of the things that has triggered, and Dr. Benivo was saying right now, is that we're able to do things remotely, and we have realized that they're doable. They can be a little stressful, like we all get, we get busy and all that, but they're doable. So we have realized that we don't have to be in the same space at the same time. We just need to find a connection and we can participate. So Code RGB right now, what we want to do is we do want to start offering more classes. One of the things that we realize that there's with this pandemic that we realize is that a lot of kids don't know how to type. They know how to do a lot of things, but they don't know how to type with two hands. And I know a lot of people that do the two finger thing. Yeah, they're
keyboarding.
great at
Absolutely, sure.
Keyboarding classes. That and it's very basic. You're like, well, you're a coding entity. You teach computer programming. Well, typing is essential for computer programming because you're typing with your fingers. You're slow. So you want to be able to type proficiently. So that's one of our ideas, that we want to be able to offer. Another thing is just playing out computer literacy for millennial parents. There's a lot of people in their 30s that are so proficient with their phone, with their social media, with and everything, but put them in a computer, they don't even know how to attach something to an email. If they don't work with a computer every day, they don't even know how to do an attachment. They don't know how to do basic email. They don't know how to, or they're scared to do something like that. They're scared of the computer. So basic computer literacy for adults, it's also needed. We used to focus a lot back a decade ago in computer literacy for seniors. And it's kind of funny that we're talking about computer literacy for millennials, but it's because most of the people under 40 are more used to using mobile devices than they are using an actual keyboard on a computer, and it's intimidating for some people. So those are the things that we're looking into. Of course, we're still want to keep on with one of the things that we've been doing just before the pandemic was giving cybersecurity talks to little kids, elementary, middle school, high school, and parents and teachers. And what we would do is, depending on each level, we would, for example, with the little ones, we will focus a lot on, make sure mom and dad, always has your passwords, make sure mom and dad downloads things for you, those kind of things. And then we go into, where we get to the high school students and we have to talk about the scary stuff. And then we get to the parents and teachers and we have to talk about the even scarier stuff. So we do a lot of that. So that's what's going on with us. And we're just excited to, I'm excited to be here all the time. Personally, I love education. I like technology. And I really like to know what's going on in the STEM field, what's going on with the school districts, what's being done new. And of course, wherever I can help, I'm right there. So that's pretty much, I don't know if that covers, or you have any more questions, Gustavo?
No. Thank you for sharing. If anybody has a specific question for Mario, real quick, again, he engages in informal, out of school programs, really focused on cybersecurity, coding, programming. So definitely reach out to him more on the informal space, right? And again, he seems to work with all kinds of audiences, whether it's parents, whether it's students or teachers. So if you have any events coming up, or you want to kind of collaborate with him in that space, please do so. Right. I'm gonna turn over. If there are any questions, I'm gonna turn it over to anybody from Workforce that'd like to kind of give an update. Either David, Jasmine, or Ms. Scott. Anyone want to kind of give an update for Workforce initiatives?
All right, guys. Well, I'll try to make it quick because I know I don't want to have anybody that's hangry on the line. I want to stay everybody's best friend right now.
Definitely.
And again, just a real quick shout out to everyone. If you all ever need us to go in and you're talking to students or you need any presentations, now we deal mostly with workforce and labor market information. So if you've got kids who want to know or you want to share information about what jobs in the area or what jobs in the state where they need to go, basically when we find when we're dealing with STEM is, unfortunately, we don't see a hotbed here in the Valley as much as we do somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And again, one of the things that we always stress is that we never go in with the trying to change a student's idea of what they want to do with their career. What we do is we empower them. And we really work with trying to get them the data as to where they want to pursue these kind of careers. Although we don't want the brain drain, as they call it, these kids leaving the area, we do want to make sure that they're successful. And so we do give them information as to where they can go right now. To find work and where the high-paying jobs are, with the hope that they will sometime come back to the Valley and create that hub here and start a spark that it becomes something like a San Antonio or an Austin area. And again, all of our data, we can go in and we can talk to confidently about males, females, age ranges, degrees, and so forth. One of the things that's hot right now with the state is they've got a internship grant that we're working on. And these internship grants, and it's focused on what the state has identified as high demand, middle skilled STEM occupations. And so what I'm going to do is in the chat, I'm going to send you guys the link to that. Let me see if I can get that to everybody. Everyone. That way y'all can take a look at it. This is the list of what's in our area. They have to meet our high demand, which there's going to be substantial job growths. Middle skilled, which means they do not necessarily need a bachelor's. If you look at the list, you only see registered nurses on there that requires a bachelor's. You're looking at some type of college, high school diploma. That's why it's called middle school. And then again, STEM, somehow it's related to the STEM field. So this is our list. If you go there, and one of the things about the Texas Internship Grant is the internships have to be in one of these fields in a dual credit industry recognized certificate offered by the school. So it kind of limits some of the schools from participating, but we have that going on. And again, this is one of the hot words right now. One of the hot topics for the state is the middle skilled, high demand middle skilled STEM. So as you can see, the state is starting to pick up on it. We've had the Camp Code for Girls over the last couple of years as well. We worked with them on that and getting that information out to the school districts. We've started an IT task force. We have one that's a healthcare task force right now that's very successful. We brought in the heads of if not all, I'm thinking all of the major hospitals here in the area, all the way from Brownsville all the way up into McAllen area. And they get together and they talk about trends and needs and occupations as well. So we started something very similar in the IT field. So we're bringing some individuals on, and we have a gentleman by the name, I believe, of Aaron Gonzalez. He's on our team and he's leading that task force. And again, it's to identify trends, upcoming occupations, something that we haven't thought about. You know, what is it that's out there? What is in demand? You know, cybersecurity has always been a big demand. Unfortunately, the problem we've always run into with cybersecurity is that we train them down here and then they end up leaving for better paying jobs somewhere else in San Antonio, Austin. And again, and this comes back to my team, Jasmine and Geneva, who are on the call representing that team, is that a lot of times, you know, if you're younger, you see that higher pay and that's what excites you, but you don't realize the cost of living in Austin. So you could be making $20 in Austin an hour, but 12 of those dollars an hour are going to be going to just buying food and rent, and you're really making less than if you were to stay down here. So the team is goes out there and empowers the students and lets them know all this information. So again, if any of you have anything like that, you need partnering or you need some reports or anything like that for us to help you with, definitely we're available for you. Just go ahead and reach out to or accommodate. We can get those. We do ask 2 weeks around now, but usually we'll try to get it faster for you. Again, and also we're also, if any of you have any contacts, we are creating a employer video library again for the kids to go in and career exploration and ask questions. And although because of COVID, a lot of these schools are not able to have in-person career exploration events. So we started creating a virtual library where we interview individuals, and we are always in need of IT, STEM fields that might be willing to do that. So if you yourselves are willing to talk about that, or if you have somebody that you want to contact, would like to connect us to, we definitely would love to do that so we can get that information into the hands of our kids and our parents, because one of the things we also notice is the holistic approach is that a lot of times the parents are the ones that will tell the kids, I want you to go into this field and I want you to stay here locally to work. And unfortunately, sometimes those fields are not in high demand in this area, but the parents, you know, they're a big influence and they say, you know what, go to here and you're going to find work. And unfortunately, they're not as informed with the labor market. And something we do see at the workforce is we do see a lot of individuals with bachelor's and master's and doctorates in STEM fields that are not doing what they went to school for. They're doing, you know, not that teaching's a bad thing, but that's not what they had originally wanted to do. And so they go into the teaching field or they find some other fields. We've seen some that are working as managers at Walmart and Target because they cannot find something here in the area. So again, we are also able to speak to parents and to teachers as well. So anything we can do to empower our youth and get them the information they need to make those educated decisions and be prepared after school. So again, thank you again, Gus, for the invite and having us on. So we appreciate it, Mrs. Escobar. Thank you so much as well. And again, if we don't talk to you soon, you all have a Merry Christmas and enjoy your Happy New Year. And hopefully the new year is something different. We'll see each other in person.
Definitely. Thank you, David, for that. And I want to just reiterate, I really appreciate you sharing that information on the high demand middle school STEM occupations, because, you know, here in Texas, our students are going to take different paths, right? Definitely want to always promote excellence, want to promote that 4-year degree, want to promote that 2-year degree, want to promote opportunity. Sometimes it depends on the school model. There's a focus on different areas, and I'm sure Ms. Peñales can speak to that, right? We've had conversations around that, right? So I really appreciate you reiterating, David, for us, just the trends on workforce side, because Ms. Peñales, you can take this information and say, hey, look, we've been talking about, you know, this area, and, you know, we live in our K through 12 bubble, but look at what industry is saying. Look at these middle school STEM jobs. What has been the conversation at IDEA, Ms. Peñales, around providing support for middle school STEM occupations as we wrap up some of the conversation?
So Actually, like David and I still have a conversation pending. He visited once.
Sure.
Because it has been a challenge. The conversations is still more an idea around focus on the you know, tier one, tier two school and the vision for to and through college for all. And so, but I'm starting to just kind of create a vision, an opportunity, right, for our students around making sure that that vision also aligns to what the workforce and industry data is indicating to us. So slowly but surely, Gustavo.
Definitely. Yeah. And again, I want to reiterate, like that the idea, number one, registered nurse. I mean, you have to have a bachelor's if you want to go into that. So you can still talk about, you know, uh, middle school STEM occupations, but registered nursing and nursing in general, those are really high-end professions, right? That, some of them may require an associate's degree, some of them maybe require a four-year degree, right? Uh, and you can still find ways to kind of bridge that conversation. I know that here regionally, like David mentioned earlier, STEM education, it's not really a hotbed, right? We see other occupations that are more prevalent here in the region. Uh, so, but that doesn't mean we want to discourage kids from pursuing certain areas, and just want to equip students with as much information so they can make the best choices. Anybody else want to add any other comments before we start to wrap up our meeting here this morning? Thank you so much for being here this morning. Any questions or comments as we start to close out?
I just want to add a comment. I just want to say, first, I want to thank David for sharing that as well. And it's true about, that's one of the things I wanted to add was in that Advance Together grant that we're doing. If everything goes well, we get it. One of the things that we're doing, you have South Texas College that's going to do the training, right? But we're also partnering with a local McAllen Economic Development Corporation, because they will in turn help along with the workforce boards to help actually get those adult learners trained to actually get employment. So they'll get a job, so they'll get the industry recognized credential and then get placed in employment. And so that's a big key. And what you talked about, David, that helps for them. Of course, with us, it's like if they stay here, great. If they go anywhere, that's fine too. But as you were saying, regionally, it'd be great. They can stay here locally and invest in the economy and, do well. And it looks like that's happening too. Slowly but surely you're seeing more companies are moving into the Valley. You're starting to see those high demand industries, occupations, starting to come down to the Valley. And so you want to have that educated workforce, right? That they can fill those positions. So it was great.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Jerry. I appreciate that. And again, appreciate everything you do as well in your programming. I know you guys are a little, you're a little bit of also a data cruncher. You're like a little data bank, right? Y'all collect data from all different folks. You produce wonderful, wonderful charts and wonderful graphs. So as we meet, if you ever want to prepare a package of that presentation, we'd be happy to give you a platform to share some of that data, because I know you guys are a think tank around data. Anybody else want to share anything else as we close out the meeting? It is 12 o'clock and I want to honor everybody's time. Final comments?
We're good, Gus.
Okay, perfect. Okay, folks, so our next meeting is going to be February 2021. We haven't hit a date yet just because people are still really busy, but hopefully we'll have a date pretty soon. I had selected the 18th, but I realized that Ms. Escobar has a training today, so we're not going to do the 18th because I need her to be present with these sessions. But we'll get that to you shortly. And as we move forward, just remember that we'll always have an open forum for you to kind of share, your updates as we meet together as a team. I think we heard from every sector here today, and just we're going to try to get as much people here that are actually practitioners, that are actually district leaders and campus leaders, to kind of be here present to hear directly from you all. I want to thank you all for being here again and giving us a little bit of your time to showcase a little bit of what you're doing in your field. Again, if you have any resources you want to share with the group, send them to me. I'll be happy to forward them out to the group as well. And Mrs. Cabar, I think we're ready to adjourn.
Yeah, no, it's great. I enjoy very much seeing what everybody's doing, and I know that some connections were made here today, and so that's great. I mean, that's exactly the point of what we're doing here with this ecosystem. And thank you all for being here, and have a wonderful, happy holidays. Rest as much as you can, I guess, and then come back full force January, and we will see you soon in February.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So if there aren't any more questions or anything else, thank you so much. We'll close out the meeting, and appreciate you all. Have a good, blessed rest of the week.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Jerry.